What's up guys, JP back at you once again, bringing you guys another video. I just heard some potentially amazing news. It involves Joe Bob Briggs, who was the former horror host for a show that is no longer with us. It ran on the TNT network from like the mid-90s to early 2000s called Monstervision. It was basically just a show where this guy would host movies and talk about them in between the breaks. The Angry Video Game Nerd made a great video explaining it, James Rolfe. I'll link that down in the description below if you've never heard of Monstervision. But if you grew up and was around for the early 90s, mid-90s, early 2000s, you've definitely probably heard of Monstervision if you're a horror fan. Well, basically, there is potential for a Monstervision style revival coming to the Shudder network. The Shudder network is a subscription streaming based horror network that is awesome. I've raved about it. Pretty much have a podcast that covers most of the Shudder exclusives that comes out. Have raved about the core recently. I've talked about their Shudder exclusive content. I've talked about this streaming network a lot. It's only $5 a month. It is an amazing service. I highly recommend it. Joe Bob Briggs tweeted out, "The Shudder network says they might revive some version of Monstervision if we get enough video testimonies." Weird, right? You can send them to joebob at joebobtvshow.com. So I'm not 100% sure what that means, but to me what it sounds like is, hey, if the fans and the people that consume this content are loud enough, we can make this happen. So everybody needs to be very vocal. What's very interesting about this is about a year ago I tweeted Shudder and I basically said, you guys should get a horror host. I recommend Joe Bob Briggs, which is really funny because now we have the potential for this thought in my head to actually become a reality. Every Saturday night I watched Monstervision. It was a ritual for me, and I swear to God guys, Monstervision is one of the primary reasons I am who I am today. All this stuff, all these collections, posters, videos, podcasts, everything that I do as a hobby stems from Monstervision. Like, I watched Monstervision religiously. I became a horror fan from Monstervision. It was a huge part of my life growing up in the 90s. I literally became a horror fan off of Monstervision, and you see where it's took me. You know, I've become a massive fan. I dedicate hours of my life to horror every week. The podcast has grown tremendously. It's super successful, and I can seriously credit it partially to Monstervision. I became a horror fan off of Monstervision. I saw Phantasm for the first time on Monstervision. I seen crazy movies like The Hand, and I seen a lot of the Friday the 13th on Monstervision for the first time when they did the Friday the 13th marathon. You can still see clips for it. I remember where I was when that aired. It was a huge deal to watch that and stay up as late as I can watching that. I was actually at my great-grandmother's house. She was babysitting me, and I was scared to death because she had 1,000 cats, and it was like in the woods in a trailer, and I was watching Jason hack people up in an unfamiliar location. It was amazing. It's one of my favorite horror memories of all time. I had such a blast watching that. And Monstervision, I seen Ice Cream Man for the first time on Monstervision, which was awesome. Speaking of Ice Cream Man, I actually specifically made sure to get this because of the special feature, which includes an episode of Monstervision. Now, I actually seen this episode air live. Clint Howard comes on the show. It was awesome. And Joe Bob Briggs was just such an amazing horror host, and I always wanted him to return. And this might actually be the last opportunity we ever get to see Joe Bob do his horror hosting duties again. Not to keep this video going too long, but I just really wanted to express how important to me it would be for Monstervision to return to a network that I'm completely obsessed with and love in Shudder. It is just marrying two amazing things that I love: nostalgia from my childhood, as well as something that currently I use as a tool for podcasting and different aspects of that, and just honestly movies. It's pretty fun. So really guys, it's up to us. So, you know, please, if you would share this video, I'd be eternally grateful to kind of get the word spread out there. But more importantly, make your own video and email it to the email address on the screen. I'll also put it in the link in the description down below. Let's make Shudder know that we want this. This is something that needs to happen. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Shudder's other original content, the core, please do yourself a favor. It is fantastic. See you guys next time with another video. Let's make this happen. Please, guys, come on.